How do you sell 200,000 cars in 3 minutes? Madness, man.
The US car market is so cooked. I just found out the EU is desperately trying to stop these Chinese car brands from absolutely taking over their market. But it's not even working. And I think it's only a matter of time before the US is cooked as well. See, despite jacking up tariffs to 38% on imported Chinese cars, the EU cannot stop the rise of BYD.
BYD just sold 330,000 cars in China, compared to Tesla, who barely sold like 70,000. BYD car cost $14,000, the cheapest one, whereas Tesla is selling around 36 to 37,000 in China. The BYD car, 250 miles per charge, and it charges in 5 minutes. It takes a Tesla 20 minutes to charge.
It beat out Apple, now wants to beat out Tesla. I'm talking about Xiaomi, the Chinese tech giant that made its name in phones and now is getting into cars and wants to dethrone Tesla as the biggest selling SUV in the country. Because the Model Y is currently number one. But with a new YU7 coming from Xiaomi with a $35,000 price point, it's cheaper. And the specs are pretty amazing. So amazing that in 3 seconds, they got pre-orders for more than 200,000 cars. So what are the specs? Look, it gets from 0 to 100 kilometers an hour in 3 seconds. You can charge it. In one charge, it will go more than 760 kilometers.
Xiaomi just dropped its new electric SUV called SU7 and is coming for Tesla's throat. With lower price, longer driving range, faster charging, and even more luxurious interior design.
Hey, besties. Okay, let's talk about something that's literally shaking the car industry right now. While Americans were busy arguing over overpriced Teslas and struggling with inflation, China was busy selling over 200,000 cars in just 3 minutes. Yeah, you heard that right. Xiaomi, the tech giant best known for phones, just dropped its YU7 electric vehicle, and it sold out in a blink. Not only that, it broke a world record. But here's the plot twist. America isn't clapping for China. It's panicking. The US is slapping sanctions. The EU is raising tariffs, and Tesla? It's sweating. Why? Because Chinese EVs aren't just cheaper. They're better, faster, and smarter. So let's dive in, because the war for EV dominance is here, and China might have already won.
The US car market is so cooked. I just found out the EU is desperately trying to stop these Chinese car brands from absolutely taking over their market. But it's not even working. And I think it's only a matter of time before the US is cooked as well. See, despite jacking up tariffs to 38% on imported Chinese cars, the EU cannot stop the rise of BYD. And I'll be honest, I don't really blame them. They sell an amazing little EV for less than $10,000. On the other end of the spectrum, they sell a supercar that's faster than a Bugatti for only like $200,000. And not to mention, they also have an SUV that can literally drive across water. But what can possibly stop this company from coming over here and killing Ford, Tesla, GM, and everybody in between? Well, America has already imposed a 100% tariff on imported Chinese cars, hoping to boost American jobs and stop what they see as unfair competition. But I'm not sure if that's going to work. It seems like cars are getting more expensive over here every single day. If someone's going to sell me a $10,000 EV, I don't care where it comes from. What do you guys think? Would you ever buy a Chinese-made EV?
Xiaomi just dropped its new electric SUV called SU7 and is coming for Tesla's throat. With lower price, longer driving range, faster charging, and even more luxurious interior design. You guys, check this out. Xiaomi's CEO Lei Jun literally called out Tesla's Model Y, saying that he wants SU7 to challenge the Model Y. He literally admitted that even if we can't beat them, at least we can compete with them. So let's break it down. Let's be honest, it looks just like a Ferrari, right? Price point, SU7 starts at 253.5 thousand yuan, which is just over 35,000 US dollars. That is 10,000 yuan cheaper than Tesla's Model Y. Pre-orders number, 200,000 people reserved it within just 3 minutes. I'm like, what? It comes in standard, pro, and max. Driving range up to 835 kilometers. charged to 80% in just 12 minutes with that rapid 800V charging. Speaking of tech, it got NVIDIA's crazy powerful Thor chip, 700 TOPS for the autonomous driving, LiDAR on the roof. This car is stacked with features. Xiaomi plans to deliver 350,000 EVs in 2025, and the industry is shook. Tesla, BYD, everyone is feeling the heat. This morning, literally, the CEO of Leap Motor said he's feeling the pressure from the U7. Alright guys, that's it. What do you think? Would you pick the Xiaomi U7 over a Tesla? Drop your thoughts in the comments.
Let's start with the shocker. Xiaomi launched its SU7 electric vehicle, a sleek, powerful EV packed with insane features and a futuristic design, and within the first 3 minutes, over 200,000 pre-orders were made. That's not a typo. That's the full-blown Guinness World Record level frenzy. It wasn't even a traditional car brand. This is Xiaomi, yes, the smartphone company, waltzing into the EV space and leaving traditional automakers in the dust. So what makes the Xiaomi SU7 such a hit? It comes with autonomous driving capabilities, AI-powered smart cockpit, over 800 kilometers range, and guess what? A starting price of under $30,000 US. Meanwhile, you're out here paying $45,000 plus for a Tesla Model 3 with half the features and none of the innovation. Xiaomi isn't just entering the game, they're changing the rules.
BYD just sold 330,000 cars in China, compared to Tesla, who barely sold like 70,000. BYD car cost $14,000, the cheapest one, whereas Tesla's selling around 36 to 37,000 in China. The BYD car, 250 miles per charge, and it charges in 5 minutes. It takes a Tesla 20 minutes to charge. Like, we only have an illusion of competition in America. The fact that the US shut down Xiaomi, the fact that they shut down Huawei, and BYD, all these Chinese companies that are doing such innovation with transportation, technology, phones, like they literally are going to be doing flying taxis. And then you look at the US and like the cars here, like baby, it's giving Fisher-Price, it's giving Tyco, it's giving Hot Wheels, it's giving Mario Kart 64 go-karts. Like the Chinese cars, they have like fridges, they have massaging chairs. Their chairs swivel so you can literally have a table and eat in your car. And these cars are like under $30,000. When the entry-level car at $14,000 looks better than a fucking Tesla, that they can't even let the cars into the US, like blocked the product. Because even if Trump put a 100% tariff on these cars, they would still be less than $30,000. Why can't we have nice things?
So a woman in Denmark sold her Tesla Model 3 for BYD C-Line 7 Excellence. And while these cars aren't necessarily exactly the same, the price difference is about $50,000 for the Tesla to $59,000 for the BYD. And I think what's really interesting is she dives into the differences between these cars. So the number one difference that she calls out almost immediately in the article is the build quality. So the BYD, she actually says, is a significantly higher build quality, comparing that to a Mercedes. It's super solid. She's just extremely impressed with the build quality. She says that the Tesla had a little bit of rattling compared to it, especially at higher speeds, and that during certain things like rain, etc., she felt like she could hear some water ingress due to some sloshing sounds that happen during rain, whereas the BYD doesn't have any of this. The part she missed the most from the Tesla was the software. So she says that BYD software is slightly less intuitive than the Tesla, and the Tesla software was faster, more intuitive, and had fun things like Santa mode, which her kids liked, and as well as she could lock and unlock via her smartphone, and the automatic closing of the charging flap. So small quality of life things, but if you were to ask me, I would choose build quality over software any time, because software can be updated. One more thing that she says that she really likes about the BYD over the Tesla is the heads-up display. The Tesla Model 3 did not have a heads-up display. I don't know if the newest ones do, but the BYD C-Line 7 does have a heads-up display, which she really appreciated, as well as some of the physical buttons in the car. And as someone who drives an electric vehicle, 2023 Nissan Ariya, that has both a heads-up display as well as physical buttons and haptic touch buttons, the buttons are actually really nice. And I think doing away with buttons in an electric vehicle, at least right now, is a disservice. And I think that has to do with how intuitive buttons are. We've learned to use these buttons. We know how to use these buttons. And the software, like for instance, when I want to change the temperature in my car, there's some button stuff I can do and it's really easy. But there's certain things I need to go and use my screen for, right? The software. And it takes a little bit longer than it used to use the software to do this, but it does allow me some finer controls. And so there are costs and benefits to it, but I do understand the need for physical buttons right now, especially on certain things. It's just much easier. So that to me was a very interesting experience between her talking through the Tesla and the BYD. And as someone who, there's no BYDs in the US, it seems like it's a car that's further away that I've heard amazing things about, and I'm very curious. So if you guys are in similar situations, have experienced BYDs, these Chinese EVs, as well as EVs that just aren't available in the US, comment below. Let me know your favorites so we can start looking into them and do more comparisons, because it was a really interesting read for me.
Now let's talk about BYD, the silent beast that's been dominating China's domestic market and slowly creeping into Europe, Latin America, and now even Southeast Asia. In 2023 alone, BYD outsold Tesla in total EV units globally. Let that sink in. BYD beat Tesla. Quietly. Efficiently. And while the Western media rarely mentions it, the data doesn't lie. BYD vehicles are affordable, reliable, and loaded with tech. Their Blade battery is a game changer in the industry, offering greater safety, longer life, and faster charge. Meanwhile, Tesla is still trying to explain why their full self-driving is stuck in beta, and why the same model keeps getting more expensive while quality drops. While Elon tweets memes, BYD builds empires. And Xiaomi just joined the battlefield. It's not just a competition anymore, it's a takeover.
How do you sell 200,000 cars in 3 minutes? Madness, man. Let's talk about it. So yesterday, Xiaomi YU7 was launched, and it was launched at 250,000 renminbi. That's give or take about 150,000 ringgit. That's 30-odd thousand US dollars. It went berserk, man. 200,000 units in 3 minutes. To put it into perspective, that's 1,000 car every second. Actually, more than 1,000 car every second. That's 3 months of last year Malaysia total industry sale. In 3 months, they did it in 3 minutes. Madness. Complete madness. Now, how did they do it? Now, say what you want, man. Ultimately, it boils down to this thing, what we call 良心价, translate roughly into conscience pricing. More often than not, I think we overcomplicate the pricing of our product, and this is particularly true for you guys who control the pricing of vehicles in this country. This one you should pay attention to. We often overcomplicate the considerations that we take into account when we price our product, be it vehicle or whatever. We look at what our competitors are doing. We price it in such a way that it will hurt the consumer just enough but not too much not to make the purchase. We take into account past sales trend, pie charts, bar charts spread over a period of time. We look at trends. We try to price it not to conflict with our product. We overcomplicate things. Sometimes it's just easier to price your product by asking yourself, what is the bare minimum you're willing to sell before you say, nah, that's it, that's enough, I'm not going to sell any lower, I might as well as don't sell. Now, at that point, you give yourself a cushion. How much? Of course, that depends on your industry. But I would say things that are selling in the tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of units, you have a cushion of 15, 20% at most. And that's it. That's all. Look at SU7. It's been launched for what? 1 year plus, 1 year, 3 months. It was launched in March 2024. This period saw Chinese price war, at least 2 to 3 price war. SU7 never dropped price. It's the only participant in the price war in China that never dropped price. You know why? Because it was priced correctly from the beginning. It's liang xing jia from the get-go. Now I can almost hear the detractors saying things like, that's just booking, right? Tesla Cybertruck, booking 1 million, only sold 50,000. Well, this is not the same case. Yeah? In this case, we are talking about a 5,000 renminbi booking that is not refundable after a few days, which means that the conversion rate will be very, very high. Then some of you will say, of course lah, predatory pricing, dumping pricing, selling below cost. First of all, it's not dumping lah, because those cars are not made yet. All right. Now, many have argued that Xiaomi is selling below cost. Now, let's not be naive. Given the opportunity, every private limited company will be operating at a loss, isn't it? Uncle's KTV flower garland cost will also be company expenses if given the opportunity, isn't it? Whether Xiaomi is actually losing money in every sales they make, or they are claiming to lose money in every sales they make, let me give you an analogy. As a businessman, I can tell you in my business, every sale I make, in every event that we do, I can say that my cost is 20,000 ringgit. But I can also say that my cost is 3,000 ringgit. And both of them would be correct. Because what constitutes cost depends on what you want to look at, isn't it? And it's not just that. Cost doesn't just depend on what you take into account, the period that you take into account, but it also depends on your scale. Your cost per battery pack will be significantly different if you order 100,000 units versus 500,000 units. So there are many variables that you must take into account when you're calculating cost. Not just that, there are also psychological and strategic reasons as well. So public listed company may inflate their costs to lower their share prices or to reduce their dividend payout and things like that. So, to be honest, we can never really know, but what I know is this: 200,000 units of cars in 3 minutes. That's extraordinary work right there. And if I have invested in a company that is producing sales number like this, and if you tell me you're not going to pay me dividend for the next 2 to 3 years in exchange for dominance in the market share, I would say, you know what, I have the patience to play this game with you as long as you need. This is amazing work, man. Congratulations to Xiaomi. I hope overseas expansion is in your pipeline.
When you can't win fairly, you block the competition. That's exactly what's happening. The US has imposed sanctions, tariffs, and policy roadblocks to slow Chinese EVs from entering the market. Why? Because they know once Chinese EVs land on US soil, Tesla won't stand a chance on pricing, features, or innovation. The European Union is panicking too. Just this year, the EU Commission launched an investigation into Chinese EV subsidies, trying to make a case that low prices are unfair competition. But behind the scenes, they're really just terrified of losing their domestic brands like Volkswagen, Renault, and Peugeot to Chinese giants like BYD, NIO, and now Xiaomi. But here's the kicker: consumers don't care about politics, they care about value. And when they see a Xiaomi EV with a better battery, longer range, smarter tech, and half the price tag, no politician or tariff will stop that momentum.
It beat out Apple, now wants to beat out Tesla. I'm talking about Xiaomi, the Chinese tech giant that made its name in phones and now is getting into cars and wants to dethrone Tesla as the biggest selling SUV in the country. Because the Model Y is currently number one. But with a new YU7 coming from Xiaomi with a $35,000 price point, it's cheaper. And the specs are pretty amazing. So amazing that in 3 seconds, they got pre-orders for more than 200,000 cars. So what are the specs? Look, it goes from 0 to 100 kilometers an hour in 3 seconds. You can charge it In one charge, it will go more than 760 kilometers, almost 500 miles. That takes away that anxiety. No wonder you're seeing the SU7, its current model, already outselling the Model 3. So will we see that dethroning like we saw in the phone market? Look, Xiaomi is the #1 phone in terms of market share, according to the first quarter of 2025 data. And that's bigger than Huawei, but importantly, it's bigger than Apple. And so will they beat out yet another key US tech giant with the price point that actually has got a lot of anxiety going for the Chinese government? They're worried about the price competition that's so fierce that's hurting suppliers and more broadly the profit margins in the country. But let me know what you think about the latest car. I think kind of resembles a Porsche. I wonder if the drive feels the same. And by the way, they've also got eyes on VR glasses. He's looking at you, Meta, and chips as well.
Tesla is in big trouble in China if they don't release something cool and fun and cheap very, very soon. The new Tesla Model Q needs to come out now because this thing, the Xiaomi, whatever, SU7 or YU7, I forgot exactly what it's called, is stunning. This thing is stunning. They just released it, and in the first 3 minutes, they had 200,000 pre-orders already in 3 minutes, right? Which broke all records in car manufacturers in China. It's absolutely stunning. It's gorgeous. I actually love how it looks. It's a direct competitor to the Tesla Model Y, and it's cheaper. It's $1,400 cheaper over there in China. I think it starts at about $35,000 US dollars, and the high-end version of it is at $48,000. So if it comes to the US, if it ever comes to the US, the American manufacturers are cooked, and Tesla will be in a little bit more of trouble, right? But they have to come out with something. Tesla has to come out with something now, soon, like right now. They need a compact car that looks super cool and efficient and very cheap, and they need something like a cyber SUV, like a Chevy Tahoe sized 6-7 seater big trunk for families. They need those two products urgently. Don't just focus on robotaxi. That's just my opinion. Let me know what you guys think about this in the comments below. Press the plus sign to follow for more, and I'll see you in the next video.
Let's be real, Tesla's glow up is over. People are finally waking up. The hype machine that once made Tesla feel futuristic is starting to rust. Customers are complaining about price hikes, quality control issues, and lack of innovation. Tesla used to be the brand that broke barriers. Now it's the brand that just breaks down. And the internet knows it. On TikTok, YouTube, Reddit, you'll see reviews comparing Teslas to Chinese EVs, and the results are brutal. People are realizing that for the same price or less, you get a Chinese car with more screen space, voice commands, facial recognition tech, AR navigation, and better range. Oh, and Chinese EVs have better interiors too. Soft leather, touch-sensitive controls, panoramic sunroofs. Meanwhile, Tesla removed ultrasonic sensors to cut costs. So what do you get now when you buy a Tesla? A subscription to disappointment.
Okay, stop. You need to hear this. There is a new EV company that you need to be aware of. It's called Xiaomi. It's spelled up here at the top. They just sold over 10,000 electric cars in under 3 months. Their stock price jumped 17% in a single day because of this. To put this all into perspective, when Tesla first launched its first car, it actually took over a year to hit that kind of volume. Xiaomi's newest model, it's called the YU7, is already creating massive demand. They already have 10,000 people lined up to pre-order it on day one alone. It's priced at $27,000, which is nearly $10,000 cheaper than Tesla's Model 3, priced at $37,000. But this car is still loaded with smart tech, sleek design. What this really proves is that Xiaomi isn't just a phone company anymore. They're a serious threat to Tesla in the whole EV market. Analysts are actually predicting Xiaomi could sell 100,000 cars by the end of the year. This isn't just a car launch. It's a revolution happening faster than anybody expected. If you want to know some more breakdowns on some of these game-changing EVs and tech power moves like this, like and follow, put a comment in the description. You're not going to want to miss what's next.
This is bigger than just car brands. This is about industrial power and national pride. China isn't just building better EVs. They're building entire ecosystems. EV factories, battery plants, mining operations, charging infrastructure, all backed by the state and scaled like crazy. It's not a product strategy. It's a national mission. In Africa, Latin America, the Middle East, and even Europe, Chinese EVs are quietly taking over. They're cheaper to import, easier to repair, and packed with features locals love. American brands, on the other hand, can't keep up with production timelines, suffer supply chain delays, and rely on hype instead of delivery. By 2030, the EV market will be dominated by whoever owns batteries, chips, and scale, and China is ahead on all three. The West tried to slow them down with sanctions, but now they're realizing you can't sanction innovation. You can only lose to it. Oh, there you have it. Xiaomi's car just broke records, Tesla's struggling, and the US is scrambling to stop China's unstoppable EV revolution. But the truth? It's too late. Chinese EVs aren't coming. They're here and they're winning. If your team tech wins, hit that like button. If you think America still has a shot, drop a comment below. I'm curious to hear from y'all. And don't forget to subscribe for more no-filter breakdowns on the world's biggest economic power plays. Adios, besties, and buckle up because this EV race just got personal.